All right, welcome here to Bloomington Buddies, where two buddies talk about all things sports. I'm Eddie Finn here, joined by Quincy Bell. We got a lot of things going on today's show. First off, we are going to look at some the college football preview, as college football is getting pretty big this week. This is when a lot of the big games happen. This is going to determine a lot of who's going, who's not. Hopefully we see some big upsets. Hopefully we see some, maybe some finalizing spots in the playoffs. We'll find out this week, though. Then after that, I want to go into the NFL because, guys, there's been some massive trades. There's been some things that are probably going to either help or hurt the teams that happen to them. And then after that, I think we're going to do a little NBA, some big news there, and then we'll do World Series, and then we may have some time for trivia at the end. But, yeah, we got a lot to talk about today. Me and Quincy were talking about this show's probably going to be a little bit longer than usual. Just because there is so much news to talk about. But let's go ahead and hop in. First off, let's start with college football. I feel like that's always a good thing to start off with. So biggest matchup by far of the weekend is going to be Georgia-Tennessee.
I think first, though, I kind of want to look at the playoff rankings because
I don't agree with them.
Okay, so there's two types of people when it comes to when they look at the playoff rankings. They don't mean a single thing. The last one's the only one that matters. Why do they even do them now? This doesn't matter. And then you have the people that think it's the be-all, end-all the first week that they release their rankings. And I think it's a little bit of both. Yes, these aren't the final rankings. Georgia, the top four aren't going to be the top four. But also, if you're ranked, say, 13 or 15 and you have a chance to move up, it's going to be harder than if you're, say, like 8 or 9 or 7. So,
which I think is bogus because especially like Kansas State, like they're 6-2. I'm telling you right now, I could see possibly a couple of the top teams going lower than that, and they're not even going to be considered.
So the highlight obviously was them putting Tennessee at number 1, and for me,
they don't deserve to be there.
For me, I agree. They have by far the best resume. They have 2 wins over top 10 teams. LSU and Alabama. I'm talking about who the playoff committee says are the top 10 teams. And then they have a ranked win over Pitt, ranked win over Florida, and they've just been blowing everyone out. I agree with Tennessee at number 1. If you want to put them 2 or 3, fine. I think if you want to put Georgia 1, go ahead.
Tennessee, I can agree with it too, but I don't think that the only reason they're 1 is because they beat Bama. That's it.
They have Ohio State at 2, which I think I would put them at 3 or 4.
Put them at 3.
It's fine. It's fine with them at 2.
Okay, I don't agree for once in my life that Clemson should be 4.
Neither do I. Okay, they have Georgia
They're
at
undefeated.
3. The top 3, I think you could put in any order. You could put Ohio State, Tennessee, and Georgia in any order.
I feel like, those are just all solidified. But if I'm being honest right now,
Clemson at 4, I think is a little high.
I literally think 6 through 9 could be better than the 4 or 5.
Here's the thing. My 4th team, and this is going to sound crazy, I would have Tennessee 1, Georgia 2, Ohio State 3. My 4 would be TCU.
No.
I think they have the fact that they are 7 is completely disrespectful.
It's not because
entirely disrespectful.
They haven't beat any humongous teams. They
beat Kansas State, who's ranked 13. They beat Kansas, who was ranked. They mollywopped Oklahoma. They beat Oklahoma State, who's a ranked team. I don't know. I think if we're ranking the 6 undefeated teams, I would go Tennessee, Georgia, Ohio State,
and
TCU, Michigan, Clemson.
Yeah, but I'm just saying I don't think they're going to necessarily look at that because that's just not how they roll. If TCU loses 1 game, they're going to be dropped so far.
Overall, I think I didn't have too many huge complaints. I thought LSU was a little high at 10. I thought Illinois was a little low at 16. I thought North Carolina was.
When you lose to Indiana, you don't even deserve to be ranked.
Yeah, well, they've really improved since that game. You gotta admit, to
be honest, they didn't really suck in our game. We got lucky.
If we played them again, they would kick our ass.
Oh, 100%. But if I'm being honest right now, I don't think that Michigan should be in the top 8.
Actually, did you know that Illinois has the number 1 scoring defense in the country?
Oh yeah, no, I know they do.
At 8.5 points allowed per game. And the next is I think Georgia at like 11.
And then I think Tennessee is 3rd or 4th.
Tennessee's up there, but Illinois with the top defense in college football is a little surprising.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. If I'm being honest right now, somebody said who do you think is the best scoring team If I'm being realistic, I think it's Georgia. I know everybody's going to say Tennessee, but I think it's Georgia.
Tennessee's best.
It's not. Georgia puts up 42, 55, 42. Then they had those 2 rough games, but they still put up 39, 26. Then 48, 33, 49.
We can talk on and on about Georgia.
So, I mean,
Tennessee
I'm just saying right now, if I'm finalizing my top 4 rankings, Georgia at 1, Tennessee at 2, Ohio State at 3, and Bama comes back at 4 just because they lost to Tennessee. Okay, that's a top 4 team. They're going to put Bama over a team that hasn't played anybody.
I guess. Bama has 2 incredibly tough games, which we'll get to. All right, let's talk about the actual games. First game I'll just go down the list of ranked teams.
There's one today. Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Washington against Oregon State. That's so good. By the way, I'm sorry, Michael Penix. I honestly was really hoping that you would win the Heisman on the down low.
He was on the Heisman watch for about.
He was second at one point.
So Oregon State. To be honest, they're a few plays away from being like 7-1 and in the playoff conversation after a win over USC. But of course, they couldn't finish that game against USC. But they're 6-2.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, they make a bowl game easy. 6
wins is bowl eligible. They're already bowl eligible.
Actually, that's not how that works anymore.
Yeah, it is.
No, it depends on what teams are ahead of you because
if you win 6 games, you're eligible for a bowl.
Correct, you're eligible, but it doesn't mean you're going to get it.
They'll make a bowl.
I mean, they probably will because teams suck. But what I'm saying is you don't necessarily get it.
Every 6-win team got a bowl.
That was last year. I'm just saying they every now and then don't.
Washington's a 4-point home favorite. I'm not a huge fan of Washington. I know they have the same record as Oregon. I think Oregon State's better.
I can see that. Up next, Northwestern is home against Ohio State. Hot take: Northwestern wins by 36. I'm just joking. At home too, by the way.
What's funny is that Northwestern won
and then never won again.
They won the Ireland game, which was played like 2 weeks before any other games. And everyone's like, oh, wow, they might not be too bad this year.
They need to go play in Ireland.
They haven't won since.
Yeah, no.
They are winless since that game. They're 1-7.
Next,
in fact,
big
Ohio
game.
State's 38-point favorites, and that seems like
that's what I'm saying. That's why
like
Northwestern's winning by 36.
No,
easy.
See, Ohio State is 38-point favorites, and that seems
kind of low. Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. Next game. Okay, this isn't usually a big game, but it is. It's North Carolina at Virginia. North Carolina is ranked. They're 7-1. This is honestly, I don't know what's going on. For some reason, it's the turn of the basketball teams. Kansas got ranked. North Carolina got ranked. Duke was ranked at one point. North
Carolina's been good for a minute in football.
They've been okay.
Mac Brown's a good coach.
They were good with Sam Howell.
North Carolina actually has an outside chance of making the playoff.
No, they're not going to make the playoff.
So they would need some things to break their way.
Bama needs to lose a game.
They have 1 loss, and I think they have a 2-game lead in that division. That division is just horrible. Duke, Miami, Georgia Tech, Pitt.
Duke actually isn't bad. If you watch them play a couple games, they're pretty good.
That they're so we got Duke, Miami, Georgia Tech, Pitt, Virginia Tech, and Virginia. Those are all bad teams. They're all
not good.
If we're assuming North Carolina can finish this season,
they would have to win the rest of their games.
11-1,
and Bama would have to lose.
They would play Clemson in the SEC title, and if they would win that, they'd be 12-1 with a conference title, and they would probably be considered for a playoff. They're on the road against Virginia. I think they should get this one done. They probably should. They have at Wake Forest, which will be a good game.
True,
but I think they should win this one. And
if I'm being honest,
at Wake Forest game will be whether or not they get a shot.
I honestly am thinking about it right now. I honestly think that only one undefeated team makes the playoffs this year. So now that I'm thinking about it, I think Ohio State does take first.
Okay.
Because Tennessee is going to lose to Georgia.
We're going to talk about.
And then Alabama's going to beat Georgia.
I want to talk about playoffs.
But anyway, later. Yeah, we will talk about
Next
that.
Game, Texas Tech and TCU. Now, the thing about TCU is if TCU goes undefeated, I think they'll make the playoff. Because here's the thing. One of Georgia, Tennessee has to lose, and one of Michigan, Ohio State has to lose. That's already 2 teams that you're jumping. And then if we're thinking Bama plays the winner of Georgia, Tennessee, of the teams ahead of them, a bunch of them are going to have to lose because they're going to play each other. So if TCU stays undefeated, I think they will pretty much for sure sneak in that
I'm telling you this. I 100% think that TCU deserves it, but they're going to if Bama wins out and they only lose 1 game and TCU goes undefeated.
I don't know if Bama's winning out, because if Bama's winning out, they got to be LSU, Ole Miss, and the winner of Georgia, Tennessee.
That's what I'm saying, but I think they will. That's what I said. I think they finish out now. But my point is that are you going to take a TCU team who has no experience in the playoffs, or a Bama team with 1 loss?
Here's the thing:
this
has happened to TCU before in the 2010 BCS title.
Correct.
Oregon and Auburn and TCU were the 3 undefeated teams. Back then, they only picked 2.
Correct.
They left TCU out in the first year of the playoff ever. They had 1 loss, and it was between them, Baylor, or Ohio State.
And they chose Ohio
and
State.
they took Ohio State.
Because
so TCU
they're
has
bigger.
had really bad luck with this.
But I'm just saying, if I'm being realistic, if I'm from the committee and I'm thinking who's going to make me more money and who's going to have a better chance against these teams, I'm going to pick
Here's the
Bama
thing, though.
any day.
In the playoff era, an undefeated Power 5 champ has never not made it. So if TCU goes
Correct.
undefeated, they'll get in.
But most of the time, the Power 5 champs are like pretty big, like really big. TCU is not a humongous football team.
Think about this. Washington made the playoff.
Yeah, but Washington was at that time in that little stretch known as a pretty good football team for a couple years.
TCU.
TCU has got 1 year.
TCU's been good for a while.
They've been like mediocre the past 2 years.
The
But
past
anyway.
2 years, but they've had a good program in like recent history.
Eh,
I think so. They got a big game.
I think
against
TCU wins.
against Texas Tech.
Yeah, it's pretty
Texas
easy.
Tech, they're 4-4. I mean,
They struggled.
They had the big win over Texas earlier.
They
in
need
the
Patty
year.
back. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
they just need him back.
They had the big win over their biggest rival, Texas, earlier in the year.
Yeah.
I mean, they've played some good teams close. I think TCU at home though is going to win this one. Max Duggan is firing.
He's firing. Up next, Kentucky at Missouri. Kentucky is struggling hard right now. They are favored to win. I'm gonna take hot take. I'm gonna take Missouri. They're at home. Missouri fans. I have a bunch of friends that go there. They're insane. Right
I
now.
wouldn't. I think Kentucky will win, but I wouldn't be completely shocked if Missouri pulls that
Well,
out.
I just say this because Missouri just upset
South Carolina.
which is a big deal.
Everyone with a brain knew South Carolina wasn't that good.
What are you talking about? They're 5-3,
They're not that great.
and they are decent. They're
not that
decent. They wouldn't be 5-3 if they weren't decent. Up next after that, the battle of teams that historically are losing to Indiana. It's Illinois and Michigan State. But I honestly think Illinois wins this pretty easy. Michigan State just is
Michigan
horrible.
State
They've
is
got players suspended. By the way, they did come out. I've seen the video. If they don't get suspended or get charges filed against them, that is absolute bogus. They literally just beat the living shit out of
I
them.
saw the video.
There was
like,
no
the
reason.
day
Yeah,
it
he
came
provoked
out.
him with words, but like, come on, let's be big people here. We're all adults.
I mean, they've been getting their ass whooped by some pretty mediocre teams.
Okay,
like
well then you know what? Then they
Minnesota
deserve the
and
heat. If you
Maryland.
can't, I mean, if somebody right now tells me Indiana sucks, what am I going to go? Oh, you know what? Come here, I'm going to punch you in the face.
No, I'm
no.
not. No, I'm just saying that wasn't what I was talking about. I was just saying they're not a good team.
They're not a good team, but
that
that
was
doesn't.
completely unrelated.
It does not. Need,
Illinois is 17-point home favorites. Honestly, I think Michigan State will cover. I don't think they win though.
I don't think they cover.
I think they'll cover.
Michigan State
'cause
literally
Illinois,
is one of the worst
All
Michigan
right,
State teams I've
I'll
seen.
give you a question. What do you think is the most points Illinois has scored against a Big Ten team?
49
34 against Wisconsin.
this year or ever.
No, this year.
This year is 34 against Wisconsin. Yeah, Michigan
That's
State's
the
worse than
most
Wisconsin,
they've scored against the Big Ten.
and they're worse than Wisconsin.
They
So.
beat Wisconsin. It don't matter.
We beat Illinois. Are you saying we're better than Illinois?
It don't matter. Illinois is gonna win.
Okay, and then us against Penn State.
See, I'm a little frustrated because I'm a diehard Tennessee fan. Grandpa played football at Tennessee. It's why I wear 51. And the IU Penn State game is at the same time as the Georgia Tennessee game. So what I'm probably gonna do is I'm probably gonna leave at halftime of the IU, unless IU's hanging with them, which I don't think they will. Penn State's gonna probably run us out of the building. But if IU is hanging around in the game, I'll stay. But if it's a blowout, I'm leaving and I'm watching the end of the Georgia Tennessee game. That being said, I mean, Penn State, they almost pulled it out last week against Ohio State, but with that, they're eliminated. They can't win the East. They can't make the playoff. They're just trying to make a really good bowl game. I think they'll beat IU.
I think they'll beat IU, but if I'm being realistic, I'm looking at it. By the way, can I preach for a second? Can we bench Connor Bazelak at this point? Really? Why are we still playing him? He can't do anything.
I don't
This is
know.
not the scheme we should be running.
And
We run the same scheme every week, and every week we get exposed.
and Cam tore his ACL.
So he's already been out. Yeah.
So we're fucked.
So we don't have Cam Campers. We still do have my man Sean Shivers. But running inside zone bubble screen and slants every single game doesn't work, guys. So
I'm ready for basketball.
maybe we can just, I don't know, come up with the offense we used when we played with Michael Penix, because that did something for us.
I'm ready for basketball, and the only game that matters for IU football is Purdue.
And I don't agree with that. I think we could still make a bowl game. We can. If we beat Purdue and we beat Michigan State,
Eddie, the bowl dreams have been dead since they lost to Nebraska.
that is the true. But I mean, there's always.
They have to win 3 of their next 4, and it's Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan State, and Purdue. They probably lose all 4 of those.
I don't think they lose all 4. I don't.
I think they'll lose.
We do not lose to Michigan State. If we lose to Michigan State, then we just might as well just freaking bench.
They have the same record as us.
Yeah, we've also played harder teams. Way harder teams.
We're in the same division. They play the same teams.
No, they don't. Every year, you don't always play the same teams.
Okay. Well, we're gonna probably finish 3 and 3 and.
I doubt that. But yeah, so it'll be a good game. Actually, they're not favored to win by too much. It doesn't look like
13.5.
Yeah, that's not a lot, really.
I would take Penn State.
I mean, I think Penn State wins, but I don't think they. I don't think they blow us out like that.
Penn State covers. Penn State wins by at least 3 scores.
Well, maybe.
All right, next game I got on the dock is Oklahoma State. Yeah, Oklahoma State's in the same boat as Penn State. They had the second loss. The second loss is the death sentence for any playoff hopes. So their season's pretty much over. Kansas, they started 5-0, 0-3 since, and they have 4 tough games. They got to win 1 to get to bowl eligibility, and they got Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, Texas, and Kansas State.
They beat Texas Tech and Kansas State. No, Kansas State will beat them.
Kansas State will beat them. They just got to win 1 of those. Kansas is actually a 1-point favorite here. I'm going to take Kansas because Oklahoma State got beat to shreds against Kansas
Yeah,
State.
but I think that they were just I think honestly Oklahoma State wins it. I just think that they've had a rough Oklahoma State's just had a couple of rough games, but they're way better. I think they're a better team.
I'm riding with Kansas.
Next one. Okay, I do have to say this didn't age well when we recorded it about a month ago. But come on, Syracuse, you had my vote. You had my vote of confidence. You've been 0-2 since you started at 6-0.
Another team that suffered that second loss.
Oh my gosh! And not only that, but I mean Syracuse by far their team is ridiculous. Like it's not even that they're a bad team and they just they sucked the last 2 games. It's just that they just played tough. Like the teams they played tough.
Yeah.
And this team, I honestly think that they could be a top 15 team. I'm not even joking. They're good.
Well, they're 20 right now.
They're 20, but I think they should be higher. But they're playing Pitt. That'll be a win. We talked about it.
I don't know. It's at Pitt.
It's at Pitt, but I don't care.
I think Pitt's gonna win.
I mean,
Syracuse. I mean, they
Pitt has a
suffered
history
the tough
of
loss
doing
against
it.
Clemson.
Yeah, but Pitt has a history of upsetting big opponents at home, but I just don't know that they're going to do it this time. They do it with Clemson and everything else.
I'm taking Pitt.
Oregon, by the way, I do want to talk about the Oregon is 7-1 playing Colorado, who's 1-7, but Oregon needs to win this game. They are at Colorado. Maybe Colorado gets a dub.
Oregon's got an outside chance of a playoff spot. What's really going to hold Oregon back, though, is that 49-3 game against Georgia.
That's what I was going to say. If Georgia
really going to hold them back.
If Georgia loses to Tennessee,
if it comes down
and then loses to Alabama, or then because that would be it.
The best hope for Oregon is if Georgia wins against Tennessee, because that would make their loss look not as bad.
Correct, but also, yeah, but either way, they wouldn't make the playoffs. I don't think.
Next game we got up is a huge one because these teams are tied there's a 3-way tie at the top
of the SEC.
At the top of the SEC West,
Bama and LSU.
LSU, Ole Miss, and Alabama are all 4-1.
Who was Ole Miss? I actually don't even know.
Ole Miss lost to LSU, but
no,
now,
I know.
And now LSU has a home game against Alabama. Now it's a night game at Tiger Stadium.
Correct.
It is going to be an insane environment, and it's not going to be an easy game for Alabama to win. Now, LSU's quarterback, Jalen Daniels, now I swear. So he was at Arizona State. He was a really good quarterback.
Yeah, and then he transferred. He's still good.
Isn't Kansas's quarterback also named Jalen Daniels?
Yeah.
I thought that Jalen Daniels was the one from
Well,
Arizona State.
They call the one on LSU, he's JT Daniels.
Okay.
They call him JT.
JT Daniels is at West Virginia. Anyway,
I'm pretty sure
he's had a great year.
He's
had a really good year, especially running the football. He had 3 rushing touchdowns in 1 quarter.
Yeah, he's really good. But the funny thing is that if LSU wins, neither of them make the playoffs.
The thing about LSU, though,
because they have 2 losses.
I think LSU is the only 2-loss team with a chance. If they can somehow win the SEC, if they win the SEC with 2 losses, I think they get in. Just because you got to look at the wins they would have. They would have a win against Bama, at Ole Miss, either Georgia or Tennessee. I don't think that will happen, but I think they're the only 2-loss team with a chance, and they've actually rebounded quite nicely. They started the season off really bad with that loss to Florida State on that missed extra point, but they've rebounded pretty nicely, especially since that Tennessee loss where they got beaten down. Beat Florida and Ole Miss, 2 good wins. The thing is, I think it's going to be a close game. I think Alabama has enough at the end to win. I think Alabama will beat LSU.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly, if I'm being honest, I think that Kansas State at 6 and if they win the rest, they do. I mean, think about
the Big 12's not a good enough conference.
correct, but they beat Oklahoma pretty bad.
Yeah, still.
They destroyed Oklahoma State.
The Big 12's not a good enough conference. They will not make it with 2 losses.
TCU's in the Big 12.
Yeah, but
if TCU loses, you're telling
the
me
Big
that
12,
they
the
wouldn't have
Big 12 champ needs to go undefeated. The SEC is the only conference that can have a 2-loss champ. That's just how it is.
Okay, can we talk about this for a second because it is finalized and like they're already moving preparation for the offseason. Why in the world is the Big Ten doing this? The whole point of like the whole thing that I loved about the Big Ten was it was always kind of right around here. Now we're adding USC. It's finalized. They've already said they're moving. It's done. I know exactly why, but I'm just saying, like, it's not the Big Ten anymore. The whole point of the Big Ten was it was this region, and it's so dumb that they're moving conferences like this. I know exactly why they're doing it, but like why they're ruining the divisions just as stupid. It's just
they have to keep pace with the SEC. They can't let you can't let the. I get what you're saying.
But USC,
okay,
there are so many bigger teams that are closer that we could probably.
I get it. But the SEC pretty much ruined it by adding Oklahoma and Texas to where.
First off, Oklahoma's not going to do much for them after these last couple seasons.
It's not how good the teams are; it's how much money they make.
I understand that, but I'm telling you right now,
Rutgers isn't a good team, but they bring in all that New York area TV revenue.
Oh yeah, which is so because they literally don't have. Actually, they don't even bring in that much as they used to. They did for a while. Now they don't as much. Okay, they still do.
But
I'm just saying we have so many teams.
If they just because the SEC is thinking of adding Clemson and Florida State. Or maybe Miami.
I don't think that Clemson will leave the ACC if I'm being
They're
honest.
thinking
They're just
about
too big.
Like you can't just let the SEC become the only conference.
But I'm telling you right now that they're not going to become the only conference. Why? Because why would Clemson, who is at the top of the ACC almost every year, leave to go be in 7th place? Correct. But you win more money when you do well. How can you do well when you're in a conference with 7 teams that are better than you?
Eddie, Vanderbilt gets the same payout as Alabama at the end of every year.
Not if Alabama wins championships.
No.
They get bonuses. You know how I know? Because I don't know. They literally tell you.
The
same base salary.
The SEC base salary is so much higher than the ACC.
That's true. But
Clemson would be making more money if they went to the SEC.
Yes, but I'm telling you right now, you ask most of those like sports programs, they'd rather have a chip.
I'll say a lot of people, like especially Alabama fans, want Clemson to come to the SEC.
Just because they can play them more.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's exactly why.
But that's why they added them.
But anyway, next game that's big.
Texas and Kansas State.
I don't think that's really that big.
I'm taking Texas.
I'm taking Kansas State easy.
All right, this is a big one. Notre Dame and Clemson.
Yeah,
Notre Dame started the year off probably as bad as you could start a year.
They started to come back.
They started 0-2, lost to Marshall and Notre Dame. Since then, though, 5-1. They beat Cal, they beat North Carolina, and that's North Carolina's only loss. That win's starting to look really good.
Yeah.
Beat BYU, who was ranked at the time, not very good now, but ranked at the time. Lost to a 1-win Stanford, but then beat UNLV.
They also lost to what's their face?
Stanford.
No, they lost to another team.
They lost to Stanford, Ohio State, and Marshall.
Marshall.
I'm looking at.
That's what I was going to say.
Marshall at the start.
I can't believe you.
But they rebounded against Syracuse, and here's the thing. This is the only home game.
They screwed Syracuse.
This is the biggest game for them that matters because they can knock Clemson out of the playoff.
No, I think USC is a big game for them.
This is going to be a bigger game though. They did it back the last time they played them in the COVID year. They played Clemson and beat them. Clemson did get them in the ACC championship game.
I was going to say, but I can't believe Notre Dame is. They actually are thinking about finalizing their move
to the ACC.
Yeah, because they're not in the ACC right now.
Yeah.
They moved back to independent, but they're thinking of finalizing a move there. Which people are so mad about.
The thing about this game though is it's going to be the biggest Notre Dame game of the year. It's going to be packed. It's a night game, 7:30. I think it's going to be close and
I wish I could work this game. We're too far away.
I think it's going to be a game that comes down to the wire. I am going to take Clemson just because I think they're a step above, but I would not be shocked. Like, okay, after week 2, I'm like, they're getting blown out by 40. I would not be surprised if Notre Dame wins. I don't think they're going to get it done, though.
Yeah. All right, 2 more games I really want to talk about. Excuse me. USC is taking on California. USC needs to just win outright for the rest of the season.
USC big.
Yeah, they need to win out for the rest.
I think USC. I think USC is the Pac-12's best hope. I think they would let USC in before they let an Oregon in, just because Oregon has that really bad loss to Georgia.
Yeah, but you're also saying that they have a really bad loss to the best team in the country.
But here's the thing: they're also going to be like up there. So I think if USC goes 11-1, they'll be considered.
But see, that's my question. Would you take UCLA or USC? UCLA looks freaking ridiculous.
They also have the
they're
one
7-1 and they're playing Arizona State.
I don't know. I still think USC. Here's the thing: if you're asking me who's going to win that game at the end of the year because they play each other, if you're asking me who wins that game, I don't know.
No, not necessarily who's going to win the game, but I mean, think about it. I mean,
who would the playoff take?
Yes.
Would they?
If they both went. If they both won. Oh well, no, because they play each other. No, let's just say that they both have the same record at the end of the year.
They would take USC. I think they would consider USC more than they consider UCLA because USC is more of like a football powerhouse.
They've been known as more of a.
And they have Caleb Williams and Jordan Addison.
But
USC's a good team, man.
Oh, interesting. I was just looking at some of the alumni from UCLA. But no, do you think that if UCLA wins outright the rest of the season, they beat USC, do you think they make the playoffs? One loss.
With one loss, it would depend on what happens above them. They would need some work above them.
Fair.
I think what for all these teams, I think they need an undefeated SEC champ because if the winner of the SEC goes undefeated, that's going to knock out Alabama, and that's probably going to knock out the loser of the Tennessee-Georgia game. Because we know the SEC. Here's what we know for sure.
No, Georgia and Tennessee are both undefeated. They will automatically make the playoffs
right
now. I'm telling you.
Okay, so we know that the SEC is getting their champion in.
Correct.
And the Big Ten is getting their champion in. And then those last two spots are a scramble between like 10 different teams.
No, automatically, I'm telling you right now, the loser of the SEC still makes it. I mean, it's just how it is. Because if Georgia loses, they're still only a one-loss team. And their one loss is to the best team in the country.
Let's talk about the big game. Georgia at home against Tennessee. Number 1 versus number 3. Number 1 versus number 2 if you prefer the AP poll. Georgia number 1
I think Georgia won, yeah.
Georgia
Tennessee
number 1 in the AP poll. Tennessee number 2 in the AP poll. Okay, right now.
Georgia's favored by 4.5?
Their ESPN's Pick Center FPI has Georgia -8.
-8. Oh, okay. So they upped it. It was 4.5, which is interesting.
Honestly, okay, so I walked into my weather. I have some weather class here that fulfills a requirement for my diploma. He's like, you gotta take 2 of these classes. I picked 2 of them. I'm like, oh, class about the weather seems cool. And I walk in, he's got it would be like a series of 3 letters and then a number. It'd be like FPI 7, CBS 8. I'm like, he's like, and this girl asked him, she's like, what are those numbers on the board? He goes, these are every single website's spread for the Georgia-Tennessee game.
Yeah.
So my weather professor actually he actually graduated from Alabama, and when Tennessee beat them, I went to his class decked out in Tennessee gear, and he laughed. He thought that was funny.
But I'm just saying right now, if I'm being honest, I really think that Tennessee could win this game if they were at home, but they're not.
Here's the thing:
Georgia's home. The fans are going to be rocking.
If you're asking me which team is better, I think
it's Georgia.
Tennessee's better.
I don't. I think that
they're not drastically better.
I think that Tennessee has looked better on offense just consistently, but I think Georgia has a way better defense. Way better. And
Georgia
defense wins games.
Here's the thing. Georgia for sure has a better defense. The thing about Tennessee though is I don't think their defense gets enough credit. These points,
they get plenty of credit, but it's just they're not as good.
Allowed numbers are the only game their defense really didn't look that great was against Alabama, and even then, Alabama scored 49. 7 of those were off the defense. They scored a defensive touchdown.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. They can't handle their defense. They play kind of terrible against bad defenses. Georgia's defense is better than Bama.
Okay, Tennessee's if we're going comparison by comparison, you see those game previews. It's like position by position. Okay, who is the better quarterback? Tennessee is the better quarterback. Hendon Hooker's better than Stetson Bennett.
It's close, in my opinion. In my opinion, that's really freaking close.
I don't think it's that close. Because
I think they're a different play style.
Stetson Bennett's a good quarterback. Hendon Hooker's Hendon Hooker's a Heisman favorite.
He's second.
He's
second. But that's besides the point.
So Hendon Hooker is the better quarterback.
I don't know about that.
Running back, I don't know who Georgia's running backs.
They've been switching.
Georgia's running backs are better. Wide receivers, it's Tennessee and it's not close. Jalen Hyatt has looked like the best receiver in the entire country. He's looked like it.
I don't know about that.
5 touchdowns against that. He's looked like it. I'm not saying he is. Because maybe you want Smith and Jigba, or maybe you like Jordan Addison. Jalen Hyatt has performed like the best receiver in the country. So receivers, we're going Tennessee.
Okay, but you've listed one receiver.
They got Jamel Keaton. Keaton's been also
Keaton's
a star.
all right. He's been mediocre.
He's not just all right. That man can ball. And they're getting the one dude back from injury. Tennessee had here's another thing. Against Alabama, they had 2 of their starting DBs out. They had a safety out and one of their cornerbacks out. So they're getting those guys back. And so wide receivers we're going Tennessee. Tight end is Georgia, Brock Bowers. Tennessee doesn't even use their tight end that much.
Literally on most things I'm looking at, Tennessee receivers aren't even in the top 5. Okay. Anyway, but
tight end, we're going
Georgia.
Brock Bowers is a stud. He's going to be a problem for Tennessee to try to go.
O-line, I'm going Georgia as well.
I don't know. O-line, I think, is a draw. Tennessee's O-line is
but now who has the better D-line?
Okay,
Georgia.
Tennessee's O-line has greatly improved. Hendon Hooker, it seems like he has all day to throw on some of these passes.
But that's also, once again, you said that Hendon Hooker is a better quarterback. He's a better, different type of quarterback. Hendon Hooker is more of a scrambler than Bennett. That's just common knowledge.
He is a better quarterback than Stetson Bennett.
I think that Stetson Bennett is a better pocket quarterback. I think that overall, Hendon Hooker he has the ability to extend play.
I'm not trying to hate on Stetson Bennett. It's just Hendon Hooker is a lot better than him.
You know what I'm telling you right now? Stetson Bennett has got a ring.
D-line.
Who doesn't.
Well, yeah, but that was mostly because of. I'm not saying Stetson Bennett's bad. There are a lot of.
I'm just saying he's not bad, but
that would kill to have Stetson Bennett, but.
West Virginia right now. Anyway,
defensive line. I think we're going Georgia. Linebacking core.
I will give Tennessee that. No. That's a draw.
Okay, I think for linebacking core, I'm going Georgia. For secondary, I'm going Georgia.
I think Georgia has the all-around better
secondary
D, including
even,
corners.
I think.
No, I think corners.
Here's
Georgia
the thing.
has
The thing about Georgia's secondary though is I think Tennessee's wide receivers are going to be way better than Georgia's secondary.
Correct, but I think that their corners are going to lock down the receivers a lot better than you think they will. Georgia's corners are, I would say, besides Alabama, they have some of the best. They consistently have the best.
So you're saying Alabama has the next best defensive back ranking?
No, not this year. This is like the one year I would say that they're like third or fourth.
Because what I'm saying is Tennessee cooked the hell out of Alabama.
Also, to be fair, Alabama, like Ohio State this year, a lot of their secondary is like freshmen and sophomores. Like they're trying to rebuild it right now.
I think,
which was not a good year to do that. But
if I'm putting a pick on this game, I'm picking Tennessee.
That's just because you're a Tennessee favorite, which is
fine.
No. Everywhere else says that they're going to lose.
I think they're the better team.
I don't. You just listed that their entire defense is pretty much better, and most of their offense is a draw.
I think their receivers and offense, they play the second fastest pace of offense. That's something Georgia hasn't seen this year or last year. There's only one team
That's true. When they played Alabama was very fast-paced.
There's only one team that has a faster-paced offense than Tennessee.
It's Indiana.
And it's Indiana.
It is. Indiana has the most plays.
But Tennessee doesn't run the same 3 plays every time.
Correct, but I'm telling you this right now. Georgia has the better defense. And that means that all they have to do, and their offense is, in my opinion, their offense is almost just as good as Tennessee.
Here's what I'm saying.
All they need is to score every time that Tennessee does and get one defensive stop, and they win.
I don't think they're going to be able to score every time Tennessee does.
But that's why you have a good D.
Here's the thing. You're not giving Tennessee's defense enough credit.
I am giving their defense enough credit, but what I'm saying
here's what I'm saying.
That they didn't stop Alabama. They just made some really terrible plays. It was not. I'm not going to sit here and say that Tennessee was like, oh my God, their defense was so good against Bama. No, it was that Bama made probably 4 major plays that were dumb that cost them that game. If they wouldn't have made those plays, I'm telling you right now, they would have won.
I don't know. They would
have won.
They scored 52 points. I don't know if
they won by 3 points. They won on a field goal that shouldn't have counted.
You're talking about Alabama's defense made a few bad plays.
No.
52 points.
I'm talking about Tennessee. Bama would have won that game if Bama's offense made probably 3 major mistakes that Tennessee's defense capitalized on. It wasn't their defense was great. It was that Bama made mistakes.
I get what you're saying. Tennessee had some people out that game. They're going to be there.
So did
for this
Bama.
Game. But they're going to be there for this game.
Okay, but what I'm saying is that your defense is good, but I am giving them enough credit. It's just that they're not going to be that great.
Here's the point that I'm trying to make. I think the gap between Tennessee's offense and Georgia's defense is bigger than the gap between Tennessee's defense and Georgia's offense. I think Tennessee is going to be able to outscore them because Georgia hasn't played like a real great high-powered offense this year. We haven't really been able to. Their defense hasn't really been tested. Like Oregon is. I mean, Okay, Oregon's probably the best team, but like Samford, South Carolina, Kent State, Missouri, Auburn, Vandy, and Florida, those are not the best offenses in the world. And still, Missouri put up 22, Florida put up 20, like Kent State put up 22. I'm thinking Tennessee's offense is going to score and score often. My final prediction is Tennessee 40, Georgia 30.
No, I'm taking right now. I'm taking Georgia 38, Tennessee 31.
Okay. I got Tennessee. Now the significance of
I'm
this
telling
game,
you right now, if Tennessee was playing at home, no argument I would take Tennessee. They're playing at Georgia. Georgia fans
Now,
are going to be rocking. They're going to win.
As for what's on the line, I saw a thing. Right now, both teams have, I think, a 70% chance to make the playoff.
No. Well, last I saw, they both had an 85% chance.
Okay, what I saw.
And then the winner of this is given 100.
I was literally watching in the comments out there. They said,
Where were you watching it? Because they're all different.
It was on SportsCenter.
Oh, mine was CBS.
Okay,
CBS
so right now so here's the thing. The winner of this game is getting in the playoff, no questions asked, because they're going to finish the regular season undefeated. Both these teams, the teams they play the rest of the regular season, they play nobodies. They're going to win all three of those games.
I don't think that if I'm being hot, there is no SEC team that finishes undefeated this year, which I want to talk about.
So you think, okay.
I think that no matter who the winner of this game is, they lose to whoever comes out of the other side.
Here's what I'm saying, though. The winner of this game is getting in the playoffs, no questions asked.
Correct, but they are not going undefeated.
Okay, because they are going to be able to afford a loss in the SEC championship should it come to that. Now,
we will see three SEC teams.
The loser of this game, I think it's a 50-50 whether they get in or not.
I don't. They only have one loss. Because I'm telling you right now,
there's going to be a lot of teams that only have one loss or zero loss.
Correct, but are you going to take Georgia or are you going to take TCU? Or are you going to take USC?
If
you're going to take the national defending champions, or are you going to take
I think if TCU goes undefeated, they will take them. Because an undefeated Power 5 champ has never not gotten in. I know you're doing the money, but an undefeated Power 5 champ has never not gotten in.
Correct, but if you're sitting here and you're a majority of the country, do you want to see TCU get creamed by
I don't think TCU will get creamed. They're 8-0 and mopping up everyone in the Big 12.
The Big 12, we just admitted, is a crappy division. You're going to be going up against the number one team in the country. You think they're going to win?
Here's the thing.
I think Georgia has the best chance of getting a revenge.
The thing is, the loser of this game is not going to make the SEC title game. And here's the thing. I think if Tennessee loses.
Okay, correct. I want to ask that. If Tennessee goes to the championship, plays Bama wins, who gets the first seed? They both have one loss.
Actually,
and they both beat each other once.
First seed's probably Ohio State.
That's true because they'll be undefeated.
Or if Michigan goes undefeated.
Michigan is not going to make the playoffs. They're not.
If they beat Ohio State, they will.
Yeah, if they beat Ohio State.
Ohio State, Michigan's going to be the game that comes down the playoffs.
But they're not going to make it.
But anyway, I think, in my opinion, I think Georgia has more to play for.
Oh, 100%.
And the reason is if Georgia loses, I don't think they get in because they will only have one ranked win, and it'll be against Oregon.
Correct,
if Tennessee gets knocked out, they'll have the win against Bama, they'll have the win against LSU, they'll have the win against Pitt, they'll have the win against Florida.
Okay, first off, Pitt is not great. Florida is mediocre.
I guess Georgia would also have a win against Florida.
Yeah,
but you get what I'm saying.
But I'm just saying.
I think if Georgia loses, they're done. If Tennessee loses, they still have a chance just because their resume is going to be so much better.
I mean, that's fair, but I just don't think that they'll end up.
But Georgia has more to play for, I feel like. Then again, I think Tennessee wins.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to NFL really quick because I'm not sure how long we have today. 2:30?
2:30. Yeah.
Okay, 2:30. So we got about an hour. So we're going to go ahead and talk about a couple things that just went on in the NFL, some major trades, how things are going to go. First off, I do want to point out Jonathan Taylor out once again. I'm just probably going to drop him off of my fantasy.
I told everyone who had the number one pick, I said don't take Jonathan Taylor.
I did.
Because
you know why? Because he was projected to be the best.
I told everyone, I said don't take Jonathan Taylor because he's either going to get hurt or to be nowhere near as good as he was last year, and both are true.
Okay, well, who would you have taken?
I would have taken Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry literally has been just as bad. I mean, he's had like two games lately.
Shows what I know.
Derrick Henry's had really two straight 200-yard rushing games, but for the first 6-7 games, he literally was doing worse than Jonathan Taylor.
But I told people, I said don't take Jonathan Taylor.
I'm just telling you right now, I think that Jonathan Taylor is still, in my opinion, top 3 running back in the league, even with the stats this year. I think just overall, he is top 3 running back in the league.
I guess.
But anyway, let's talk about trades, how it's affecting teams, and then we'll go into standings really quickly. First off, let's just start with the most recent. Well, not really the most recent, but some of them. First off, Robbie Anderson went to the Cardinals. If you guys remember, the Panthers got a 6th round and a 7th. I think the Cardinals won this trade because they just needed another tall, fast receiver.
Like, what are you gonna do with a 6th and 7th round?
No, not only that, but he's tall, he's quick. They have Marquise, D-Hop, and they have Robbie Anderson.
Yeah, but
if Kyler Murray can get his stuff together,
they're still not going to make the playoffs.
Hot take, now that they're starting, D-Hop is back. D-Hop has literally said
Robbie
they're going to go.
Anderson does not change that team from a
but D-Hop does.
team to a playoff team. I don't think he does either.
D-Hop literally has gone off.
They were like 2-5 when he.
Yeah. Okay. And they're 3-5. No,
I don't know.
I think they're 3-5.
They're last in that division. I'm not
correct, but I think that they can do it. Next up, obviously,
adding at the deadline when you're last in the division is bold.
Not really.
That's pretty bold.
Well, this wasn't last. This is like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
This has been a while. Next up, as we already know, Christian McCaffrey went to the 49ers. Panthers get a 2nd, a 3rd, a 4th, and a 5th rounder in 2024 for the 5th rounder at 2023.
He now has a top 10 quarterback to work with.
No, you mean Christian McCaffrey is the top 10 quarterback because he threw, rushed, and received.
Yeah.
He had the triple crown in his 2nd game of his 49ers career. By the way, this is, in my opinion, this is the 2nd best trade that I've seen.
Yeah.
I think I know that people are like, nah, this is number 1.
I think both teams got out of that trade pretty.
I do too, because the funny thing is since CMC left, the Panthers have looked better.
Yeah,
Deontay Foreman is a GOAT. By the way, I've always said that. I loved him when he was on the Titans. He was great. I've loved him. But nobody gives him enough credit. He's great.
He's a good player.
I literally picked him up as my backup running back. I dropped Najee Harris because he sucks. Right now, he's just horrible. But
so are the Steelers.
Yeah, they are
2-6.
But yeah, so I think that if I'm being honest right now, I think the 49ers win that trade though, because I mean they're ridiculous. Now I can see them making the Super Bowl.
All right, I want to rage about the Bears. So the Bears got.
Oh, you want to go there already? All right, I was gonna save that for last.
The Bears got rid. They got rid of Robert Quinn and gave him to the Eagles for what, like a 3rd?
Oh, even worse.
4th.
A 4th. They got a 4th in return. That is the worst trade I've ever heard of.
I don't know.
Actually, no, I take that back. There's the worst one. Let me find it. Where's it at? Here it is. Roquan Smith for a 2nd and a 5th.
Okay, I didn't hate the Roquan Smith trade.
You guys are like such historically good at trading your best linebackers for absolutely shitty picks.
I didn't hate the Roquan Smith trade, and the reason I didn't hate it.
What about the Khalil Mack trade? Did you hate that one?
Okay, so the reason I didn't hate the Roquan Smith trade is because he's coming up on. His contract's up at the end of the year.
Correct, and he's still one of the best linebackers in the game.
And he wants to get paid, like the highest paid linebacker in the game.
And he very much deserves it.
Here's the thing, though. He has not played that great this year.
Yeah, because he's on the freaking Bears.
There have been games where I'm like, what the hell is Roquan? Like, he is still a great player. But there have been some games where I'm like, what the hell is he doing?
Okay, but I'm telling you right now, he's on the Ravens, right? You now have JPP, Calais Campbell. Now, everybody that plays the Bears goes, oh, all we got to do is stop Roquan, and we're good. They just triple team him, and nobody else helps him.
Like when he got pancake blocked by Carson Wentz.
Yeah, because that was okay. So you're talking about one where he was caught off guard, where he literally had his back turned to a quarterback that just stopped and he ran into him. Carson Wentz, by the way, is 6'4", 250 pounds.
I didn't hate the Roquan Smith trade.
If I was a Bears fan, I would be livid.
Here's the thing. I don't think they're going to be able to they weren't going to be able to re-sign him anyway.
No, because you guys are stupid with contracts. You have nobody on that team. You guys have one of the worst caps now. I mean, you won't now, but you guys have like $100 million in cap.
So it frees up cap space, and they got a 2nd rounder. I would have liked to try to get a 1st, but a 2nd's fine.
We've seen how draft picks have gone for you guys in the last
what do they do?
years.
But what do they do? They turn around and give so they now have
for Chase Claypool.
For fucking Chase Claypool. Oh my God, this guy is terrible.
He's not terrible.
He's not worth a 2nd.
I agree with that, but he's not terrible.
He is worth a 5th round pick.
He will help you though.
He is worth a 5th round pick.
With now you have Money Man Mooney, you have him, and I think that Amon-Ra St. Brown is great.
We could have gotten a better receiver in the 2nd round.
Do you have Amon-Ra? No, you have Equanimous.
Equanimous St. Brown.
But yeah, I think I don't think he's worth a 2nd.
They could have gotten a better receiver in the 2nd round. But no, let's get
Chase Claypool. Okay, if I'm being honest though, his catching is where he gets is his catching. He's one of the best hands down catchers. He is.
They took a room of okay receivers,
and then they were like, which one?
Added an okay receiver.
Yeah. They did. I think that they could have traded for a better receiver just in general. If they were going to give a second-round pick, they could have probably have gotten. They could have honestly stole Kadarius. Speaking of which,
I would have rather had Kadarius Toney than Chase Claypool.
Which, by the way, we'll talk about that in a second. Best trade for me is right here. Broncos get a first round in this year, a fourth round, and Chase Edmonds. They give up Bradley Chubb and a fifth round pick. The Dolphins win this. Why? Because Chase Edmonds is good, but they already have Raheem Mostert, who is by far, I would say, one of my favorite running backs.
They didn't need
They
Chase
they just took him out in free agency because they were like, why not add depth? But then they also end up getting Jeff Wilson from the 49ers for a fifth round pick. So now they've just re-added their depth. But they get Bradley Chubb and a fifth.
Is going to significantly improve that.
100%. That's okay. But I'm just telling you right now, if I'm being realistic, the Dolphins and the Ravens have now just moved up into the top probably 4-3 defense for me with these trades.
Oh yeah.
I think the Eagles and the Bills still have the best two defenses. But yeah, that's insane. Falcons get a fourth round pick for Calvin Ridley. That is one of the worst trades I've seen. You guys could have gotten Calvin Ridley for your second. Calvin Ridley is better than Chase Claypool.
I don't know how good Calvin Ridley is going to be because he's going to be out of football for a year, and I think
he will still be better than most of his receivers. He's tall and fast.
Yeah, but
Which
I'm not sure. I feel like the Jags got off okay with
this. This is my favorite trade because we don't
pick.
even know anything about it. Steelers get William Jackson III. Commanders get, and I quote, a late round pick. That's all it says. We don't even know what the deal was.
I'll give you a funnier instance. There was I think it was. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I think it was Jeff Locke. He was on the Indians. I think this may and they traded him to the Yankees for a player to be named later. You see this all the time. It's where it's like, hey, we'll give you this player as long as you just give us like a guy in return.
Yeah.
They traded Jeff Locke to the Yankees for a player to be named later. That player to be named later was Jeff Locke.
Exactly.
So they traded him for himself.
Yeah, it's so dumb. Okay, I do want to point out, though, I forgot about this trade just a little while ago. Colts are even more dumb than I thought. I'm so sorry to Colts fans. Colts get Zach Moss and a 6th-round pick for Nyheim Hines. Nyheim Hines is 3 times the running back that Zach Moss has been. He literally helped that team.
I think that's a pretty even.
No,
trade.
because he literally carried the Colts when Jonathan Taylor's been out. He's one of the best running backs, in my opinion, backups. I would say he's probably top 5.
Running backs are pretty easy to replace. I wouldn't be sweating over that trade. They
Correct,
just got,
but for a 6th-round pick, that's dumb.
They get a free 6th-round pick.
I don't think that's free.
You can get good players in the 6th round.
So you're telling me that Nyheim Hines for Kareem Hunt, their backups, they're fine? That's a fair trade?
I don't think Zach Moss is as good as Nyheim Hines, but he's
correct,
not.
But it's not worth it.
He's not like so much worse. Like the Colts aren't gonna really be contending, and they're gonna get Jonathan Taylor back eventually. So they pretty much. I think that's fine.
He just went out again.
I think it's fine for the Colts. They're focusing on next year because this
year 6th-round pick isn't going to do anything for him.
The Bears got Khalil Herbert in the 6th round.
Okay, that's one of the very rare. Okay, so I do want to point out, by the way, every Bears fan, I make fun of them because even Bears fans make fun of themselves. Y'all seem to do better with 6th-round picks than you do 1st-round picks.
Oh yeah,
I mean, legitimately.
They got Mooney. They got Mooney in the 5th or 6th round,
and you guys got Khalil Herbert,
and they got
you got
Kevin White in the first round. And that man has never played a game. They drafted him with the 8th overall pick.
Justin Fields. Who else was the other guy you just got? Who was the other dude?
Kyle Gordon.
Yes. Kyle Gordon, why you took him 1st round, I don't know. He would have been on the board.
They didn't have a 1st round.
That's right. You had took him early 2nd.
Frickin' Brisker's been amazing.
Brisker's been insane. Brisker is one of my favorite just young people in general. I love him.
Brisker's
and then Eddie Jackson's a GOAT, but that's just because he shares my name. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, that's the only reason he's great.
Oh yeah, they're both safeties, except one gets cooked and has. If you guys don't know, we're the 2 safeties on our flag football team.
You want to know why I get cooked?
Someone has to cover back on every single time he gets beat.
You want to know why I get cooked? Because I have to help Quincy because he doesn't know how to cover the route. That's why. Every time you play man, I have to solely go and help you. Every time.
That's why I'm saying put other people in man.
We can't when we play 5 people.
Yeah.
When we play 5 people. We can only play 4. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. But I'm just saying, if you just let me play true safety, I will cook. Anyway, I'll be Eddie Jackson, superstar activated pick, come right across. We got this. But anyway, I think those are the biggest trades that we see. By the way, I do love Devontae Smith. The players on the Eagles are so goated. I'm sorry, Jason Kelsey. By the way, He's the most underrated Kelsey brother. I think he's better than Travis. He's just so funny. He literally was hitting the gritty with Jalen Hurts after a touchdown. It was so freaking funny. He's always like hyping up, and he literally makes so many jokes. He's super cool. That whole Eagles team is funny. Devontae Smith pretty much he came on the mic and was like, for all you guys complaining and sending me mean tweets about your fantasy team, just please shut up. I don't give a crap about your fantasy teams. I honestly think that 8-0 is better than your fantasy team. And it's funny. But let's go ahead and look at standings really quick. I will say, if I'm being honest, I think that without a doubt, the Super Bowl favorites right now, everybody's saying the Bills, but I think the Eagles. The Eagles team, their depth chart is ridiculous. Like, I didn't realize just how many good players they really have. Like, I just seen, like, the main highlights because I don't really watch the Eagles because I'm a Giants fan, so it's like I don't really care about them. But, like, they're ridiculous. They struggled early against the Texans. Like, the Texans put up a fight, but, like, we've seen that throughout the year. Texans have put up a fight, and then all of a sudden they just collapse, which they did. The Eagles right now, in my opinion, number 1 seed. They're gonna go to the Super Bowl, and I think that if it's anybody but the Bills, they win. The Bills could beat them, but
I think the team that I think is going to they were talking about who is the biggest threat to Eagles in the
Bills.
NFC.
Oh, in the NFC
and the NFC.
In the NFC, if I'm being real right now, the Vikings.
I'm saying San Francisco.
Record-wise, right now, they're nowhere near him.
All they got to do is make the playoffs, and then it's a new season.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, necessarily.
I'm telling you right now, in the playoffs, there are so many teams I would take over them.
Bro, in the playoffs?
If Brady makes the playoffs, we all know what's going to happen.
The team with the bye in the playoffs went 0-2 last year.
Okay, you're also talking about two teams. The Titans only made it because Derrick Henry got them in the position to make it, and then they went out, and then he came back, and he'd been off for almost 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Also, you're talking about Ryan Tannehill, by the way, so let's take it with a grain of salt. And who was the even number 1 seed last year for the
Green Bay?
Okay, so a consistent choker. So you're talking about two teams like that. The Eagles, who have won a Super Bowl recently, the Eagles, who are a good playoff team.
People have been showing this all over the place. They're comparing this year's Eagles team to the 11-0 Steelers team that pretty much blew their season.
No. Right now, if I'm comparing them to a team, I'm comparing them to the undefeated Patriots team. They look, dude. I have not seen a better team undefeated. By the way, this is the first time the Eagles in their history have ever started 8-0.
Is a wild.
I'm not even joking. Think about it.
Am I the only one that thinks that's a wild?
Devontae Smith is like Edelman. Yes.
I mean, okay.
AJ Brown is playing like freaking Randy with the amount of spec catches he's having.
I'm not even trying to hate on the
I'm just saying
Eagles.
That team is ridiculous.
The problem with here's the thing. I think the Eagles have looked like the best team in the NFC. And it's really
they look like the best team in the NFL.
Yeah, fine. The thing is though, okay, they've beaten two teams with a winning record.
Okay.
And it's the Vikings and the Cowboys. I still think they're a good team. They beat the Texans last night on Thursday Night Football. No one was watching that game.
So you're telling me they've beat the two next best teams in the NFC? That's cool. That's kind of important when you're, winning in order to win the NFC.
I think that they are good. I don't think they are. I think the Bills are better.
By the way, not only did they beat the Vikings, they destroyed the Vikings. So
yeah.
And that's their one loss.
I don't know.
Don't get me wrong. I think the Bills are good.
I don't think they'll finish the year undefeated. Someone will get them.
I'm looking at their schedule. I'm being realistic. Who?
You know what team I think will get them? The New York Football Giants.
I hope so, but I don't think they will.
I think that's going to be their first loss. They'll beat the Commanders. Carson Wentz revenge game.
Also, wait, no, I take that back. There are two teams other than the Giants I could see possibly. The Titans.
The Bears.
Definitely not.
The Bears.
Titans and possibly the Cowboys in the second game just because they're playing in Dallas.
I think that the Giants will beat them just because
I hope so. I hope so.
I actually think the Giants can beat them.
By the way, can we talk about this? By the way, I hate the people who are like, Jonathan Taylor can't run. He's got a shitty offensive line. By the way, you're talking about the Giants. Saquon is literally running like a monster. Yeah, we got some good picks, but like our O-line still isn't great. But anyway, no, I think that the Eagles, I'm honestly right now, if they went out, I'm not
Now, the thing is they beat the Texans on Thursday night, but not a single person in Philly was watching that game.
No, because they were all at the game.
Every single person in Philly was watching the World Series against the Phillies and the Astros. Now, when we left off, this series was tied 1-1, and they were scheduled to play Monday Game 3. Well, Monday Game 3 did not happen.
And it was moved to Tuesday.
Rained out. So Tuesday comes, and the Phillies jump all out on Lance McCullers.
Gosh.
All of their runs, all 7, they won 7-0. All runs came off of home runs.
Oh, yeah. By the way, before we move on, I just want to say I told you so, and we'll get to why I told you so here in a little bit. Go ahead.
Okay, so the Phillies, so they jumped out all over him. What I saw is, so Lance McCullers throws his curveball more than anyone in baseball. They said that he was tipping his pitches. Like, when he would throw a fastball, he wouldn't bring his leg up as high. And, like, they're like, the Phillies could easily tell, like, if you tip your pitches in a World Series game, you're in for a rough night. Became the first ever pitcher in a World Series game to give up 5 home runs.
Yeah.
And it was all that. Harper, Bohm, Brandon Marsh, Schwarber representing IU.
Yeah, I was going to say IU
IU
here.
represent Kyle Schwarber.
By the way, I heard that he was here a month ago. I don't believe that because I think that everybody would have known about that.
And then Hoskins. So, and really, the pitching for Philly locked it down.
And then disaster struck.
Ranger Suarez with 5 scoreless. Connor Brogdon with a scoreless. Who he's been looking really good. So all Phillies. Wednesday, flip the script. The Astros not only win, but pitch a combined no-hitter. The second ever no-hitter in World Series history. The first one being Don Larson's perfect game back in, I think, like 1954. So that was that. Altuve got hit. The Astros aren't really a like kill you with home runs team. They are going to rally. They're going to scratch across runs. They didn't score a single run off a home run in this game. Altuve hit by a pitch with the bases loaded. Bregman doubles down the line, breaks the game open, and Christian Javier 6 innings without a hit. Bobby Abreu strikes out the side. Rafael Montero scoreless inning. Ryan Presley scoreless inning. No one gives up a hit.
Yeah, no, it was insane. I will say, I'm mad though.
Why are you mad?
Because the Astros were winning.
So then, last night,
I almost cried.
Last night was the pivotal game 5. Tied up. Winner is going to have a massive advantage going back into Houston. They only got to win 1 of 2. Losers got to win both. And this was a hell of a game.
I'm not even going to lie.
This was an amazing
When
game.
I got the alert, I was, honest to God, recording my Fortniting video.
I watched this whole game.
2 hours, and I literally saw it, and I screamed while I was recording. I was so mad. I literally was just like, you've got to be freaking kidding me.
So, Jeremy Pena, who's just been a goon this postseason, rookie.
He came out.
Singles to open up the game, scores Altuve, 1-0 Astros. Schwarber gets that run right back with a laser beam into right field, ties it at 1. Then, guess who homers in the 4th?
Who?
Jeremy fucking Pena.
No way, bro.
Again, homers in the 4th.
By the way, if they win, he's MVP.
Oh, yeah.
He's got what?
He was ALCS MVP.
He's got 4 home runs in the
All right, so it's
series,
2-1. The Phillies are getting chances, but they can't scratch that run across. Justin Verlander was terrific. They're talking about, he's giving up the most runs in World Series history. But, 5 innings.
They're freaking winning, so I don't think he gives a crap, if I'm being real.
5 innings, 1 earned run. The only run he gave up was the Schwarber home run. And then in the 8th, Yordan Altuve starts it off with a single. They go with a hit and run. Pena singles it, gets him to 3rd. And then Alvarez grounds out, but the run scores 3-1. And I'm like, man, they got that insurance run. But then Philly gets that run back in the 8th. Gene Segura singles, scoring Castellanos. Bryson Stott gets to 3rd. They have a runner on 1st and 3rd with only 1 out.
And
next batter strikes out.
Yep.
And then I can't remember who it was. I think it was Bohm. Bohm hits a rocket on low line drive on the ground, low line drive ground ball to first base, and Trey Mancini with the backhand picks it up, taps the glove on first, inning over. If that ball gets through, the game and series still tied. So we go to the 9th. Astros don't score on the 9th. They bring on Presley for the save. Presley trying to get a 5-out save. Little ambitious there. And with 1 out, Real Muto drives one into the gap.
Yeah.
I thought this ball was going to get out. And I'm like, Chas McCormick, who's a great defensive center fielder, going back, jumps on the fence, full extension, makes the catch at the top of the wall. It wouldn't have gone out, but if that gets off the wall, that's a triple. That's a triple. That's a 1-out triple. That catch is probably going to save the Astros the series.
The funny thing is
that is the catch of the decade.
I'm so pranked. We talked about this before we even started recording. If every Philly team wins the major thing, except for NHL, because we don't really care about
the
NHL.
Flyers. Oh, by the way, the Leafs finally won a game. They lost. The Leafs beat the Philadelphia.
Yeah, that was the best. That was the best one of their career. But anyway, yeah. So this is crazy. MLB is going in. All right.
So going back to Houston now. Okay, so they have an off day today. Game 5 is Saturday, or Game 6 is Saturday. Saturday is going to have Georgia, Tennessee, LSU, Alabama, a whole bunch of other good college football games, and Game 6 of the World Series. And then the pitching matchup is Framber Valdez and Zach Wheeler. Valdez has a 1.4.
As much as I hate to admit it, Astros win it tonight.
Yeah, right. You think they win it Saturday?
I think they do.
I would love
to see the Phillies win. By the way, I told you so moment. He said they're going to Philly. Philly's winning 2 of the 3. I said nope. I'm willing to bet Phillies win the first one, and then the Astros win out. And he goes, nope, no way. Mm-hmm.
They were real. That was a great game. That game.
No, yeah, that last one could have gone either way. But the second I saw them go 5-0 in the second game, I was like, yeah, nah, they're winning.
But the thing is I think this series is done because Framber Valdez has been damn near unhittable. I mean, Zach Wheeler, I'm sure, will show out as best he can. I think the Astros are going to win game. I'm like the winner of this Game 5 is going to win Game 6.
Yeah,
and I think
they won.
I think that the Astros are going to win Game 6.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to NBA, and then what time is it? Yeah. And then we'll move into trivia, and we can wrap it up there. NBA, currently, a lot of power rankings. I know I'm going to release a couple of videos on my own YouTube channel about going more in depth on this. I did it already with the NFL and NBA. But I want to talk about the biggest thing right now. The Western Conference is not something I really want to talk about just because the Eastern Conference is just so much better right now with competition. Obviously, no shock here. Top of the Eastern Conference is the Bucks at 7-0. Bucks look really freaking good right now. Giannis is, of course, just coming out having a great season.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, when it's all said and done, will be a top 10 NBA player of all time.
Oh, easy. There are 3 players right now. 3 right now that I will say are going to be top 10.
Curry, Durant, or not Durant.
Curry,
Jokic, LeBron, and
no. LeBron, I guess.
Really?
LeBron is going to be a really low 10.
Jokic will not be a top 10 player of all time.
Are you kidding me? He just passed Wilt Chamberlain's record for most triple-doubles by any center. By the way, he's been playing in the league for 5 years.
Yeah.
Wilt Chamberlain played for 20.
Maybe.
No, maybe. He in my opinion right now, he's a better player than Giannis. Easy. Okay, that just proves how much little you know about the NBA. He literally has won back-to-back MVPs, which has only been done by one other person, not Giannis.
I guess.
You know who else it's been done by? Steph.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's better than Giannis all around because he can shoot like Giannis and he's better. But yeah, no, that's why I think that Giannis is a fantastic player. He will be a top 10, but Jokic is without a doubt top 10 right now. He's really good, but no, the Cavaliers are 6-1. That team is insane. I will say that right now. Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, and then you have Evan Mobley.
Really good.
I mean, just
really
in general.
Really good depth from that team.
Oh, easy. Jared Allen, Isaiah Mobley, and then who's the other one? Oh, Karis LeVert, duh. Yeah, Evan Mobley. I mean, they've just got really good depth. They really do. Kevin Love actually has been playing decent off the bench. Which is kind of a shock. But yeah, no, I mean, this team is pretty good. Ricky Rubio will, I think he's going to start playing again here soon. I think he's injured right now. But yeah, they're really freaking good right now. The Raptors, dude, Fred VanVleet, what a GOAT. This man has literally come out and been like, who's Kyle Lowry? Who are you guys talking about?
Making Wichita State proud.
Nah, he literally is just sitting there like, who's Kyle Lowry? Who are you guys talking about? I don't know who you're talking about. Because he literally has been just as good as Kyle was when he was on that team. I mean, he's ridiculous. Hawks are 5-3 at 4th. Both the Raptors and the Hawks. Celtics are at 4-3. They have lost one. That's their streak right now. But they've had some really close games. They do play the Bulls today. They're at home against the Bulls. That'll be an interesting matchup. But I think that they're going to end up doing well. The Bulls are 5-4, sitting at 6. The Wizards are 4-4. The 76ers are 4-5. That's where the Philly thing comes in. I really want them to win that. But yeah, that's pretty rough there. The Western Conference, the Suns are sitting at the top at 6-1. Trailblazers at 5-2. Jazz 6-3. Grizzlies 5-3. The Jokic Nuggets are sitting at 5-3. I think that's just because Jamal Murray has been on and off. When Jamal Murray comes back, if I'm being honest right now, looking at everything right now, they're my favorites to go to the finals in this division. Jamal Murray is ridiculous. The Spurs are 5-3. The Pelicans are 4-3, but that's because they missed Zion. Zion came back. They almost beat LeBron's Lakers. They gave LeBron his first win, and now the Lakers are on a 2-game win streak. By the way, all 4 Pacific teams, other than the Suns. By the way, Suns are at first. The other 4 Pacific teams, 11, 12, 13, and 14. They're all lined up. They are all lined up in division. The Clippers have had a decent. They're 4-4. The Warriors have had the worst start to a season I think I've seen them had with all their core players in a long time. I'm a Dubs fan. I don't know what's going on right now. I will say there's definitely some internal issues still, but I mean, we lost to the Heat, which was like that one I can live with. They're a decent team. They've been playing bad pretty much this year, but they looked good. But when you lose to the Pistons, you lose to the Heat again. And then you lose to the Magic by 1 point. That's just when you need to start going, holy shit. We lost to the Suns. I'm not even mad about that. The Suns are a fantastic team. We lost to the Nuggets again, a good team. But, like, guys, what is going on? I mean, really, I'm just curious because we're talking about the defending champions at 3-6 right now. The Kings have been a little disappointing, as we already said. The Timberwolves are 4-4.
The Kings are disappointing every year.
Yes, but like they actually were like I'm not even gonna lie. I mean, they're only at 2-5. It's the beginning of the season. I can see them making the playoffs. They're literally really good. Their roster, no. They've got Sabonis. Now, didn't they add somebody else that was really good? I can't remember. Oh, Keegan Murray is actually really freaking good. They've got De'Aaron Fox. They've got Harrison Barnes, who is a beast. I don't care what anybody says. Harrison Barnes is one of my favorite people. Alex Len. So yeah, I mean, I think this team is it's pretty good. Rockets, of course, no need to talk about them. The Mavericks are at 8, which is the Timberwolves are a little disappointing. When you have Cat, Rudy Gobert, I mean, like just in general, that roster, like, what's their depth looking like? Because I think they traded a bit of their depth away. No, they didn't. Nope, they've got it. Luka Garza is still there. D'Angelo Russell, D'Lo, Anthony Edwards, Jordan McLaughlin. Oh my gosh. McLovin. I said McLovin because I was thinking McLaughlin. By the way, can we all get a thing? He does look like McLovin. Am I wrong, guys?
No, it's Kid from Polar Express.
You look like that too, but you also
Do you know what kind of train this is?
You do look like that too. But
Do you know what kind of train this is?
If you've ever seen Superbad, you know he looks like freaking McLovin. I mean, we literally watched it with them, and every time we were like, Quincy, say it. But yeah, so yeah. By the way, that's his new name, Jordan McLovin. I don't even care. I know what his name is now, but every time I see him on the court, I'm just going to go, McLovin! But yes, Rudy Gobert is still there, of course. They just traded for him. He's really good. But yeah, they've got a great team. Why they're losing, I don't know. But yeah, that's...
I've gotten comments upon comments for years now.
About the Polar Express kid?
Yeah, I look like the Polar Express
And I
kid.
100% see it. Because
I'm even wearing the shirt today.
if I'm being honest, you 100% would be out of our group of people, you would be the kid on the train that would be that kid. 100%. Even if you didn't look like him, you would be that kid. I'm not even going to lie.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, that's big stuff there. NBA is not too much.
That's
so
what I should have been for. I should have been that for Halloween.
Oh my
Should have
gosh.
been Polar Express kid. I could have just.
I'm not even joking. I really wanted to go get him a fake ID that just said McLovin and just
I
his
went as-
picture.
I-
I was
I went
so
as-
tempted. I don't think you understand how bad I was tempted to do
I
it.
went as Walter White for Halloween.
And our man Jimmy Davis went as Quincy Bell. So you know.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
He said he got a jersey from
he
you.
Didn't. No, he was going to. So what's it called? So I had this hat or whatever. It looked like the Walter White hat, and I just wore it out one night. And this girl, she was really drunk, but she's like, "Are you Walter White?" I was like, "Yeah, I am." So because I have the glasses, I have the glasses that kind of look like Walter White. So yeah, I had the hat.
The truth behind that is actually funny.
A lot of people actually recognized that I was Walter White. It was a very half-assed one. A few people thought I was Freddy Krueger. One girl thought I was Bruno Mars, and I thought she was talking to my friend Diego because he's brown. And then I gave him the hat, and he looked exactly like Bruno Mars.
That's horrible.
It was literally it was an exact copy, dude.
That's
Diego is just like, he's like, "Can I have this hat?" I'm like, don't
Oh
think
my
you can.
gosh, yeah, you guys are just a group of weirdos. Okay, well, what is my computer doing? Okay, there we go. Okay, so let's go ahead. What time is it? Okay, we still got a little bit of time to do trivia.
Oh, I don't got any questions.
That's okay. You can look them up while I do mine. How
I'll
about
just
that?
answer. I'll just answer yours.
Okay, that's fine.
And then next time. you can
Next
say
time we can just do whatever. Okay. First one. How many sports were included in the 2008 Olympic Games? I can give you multiple choice if you want.
Okay.
Like,
I know. IU has 24 sports.
Mhm.
I think it would be more than that.
Well, they had
though.
24 competitive sports, but they have like
They got like
50, I
IU
think.
has a hockey team where they're not in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
They have like a club hockey team. Like
Which
Notre
is so funny because
like Michigan State, Ohio State, Penn State are all in the Big Ten for
Yeah.
hockey. IU's not in the Big Ten for hockey. I think it's more than that though. I'm gonna say like 35.
Okay.
I think
All right.
I'm gonna be close there.
I feel like you'll get this one. I'll give it to you anyway. It's kind of a freebie if you know it. A sporting event is held every year on Memorial Day. What is it?
Uh,
Oh wow, I really thought you would get
Isn't-
this one right off the bat.
Oh shit! I feel like I should know it, but I'm not gonna get it. Wait, what? God, I'm blanking. I have no idea. Is it like an NFL game or something? I don't know.
No, NFL doesn't play on Memorial Day. It's off season.
Oh wait. Oh, I'm thinking of Veterans Day.
Labor
Shit.
Day. Okay, Memorial Day is in May.
Veterans
Labor
Day
Day
is
is-
Veterans Day is November 11th. Ain't it?
Yeah, that's not. Memorial Day is like Labor Day. It's just
I couldn't tell you.
okay.
I
All right.
really couldn't tell
This one's actually funny. I've forgotten about this, but I remember it now. Basketball player Scottie Pippen has a word tattooed on his forearm. What does it say?
you.
It's pretty. It's like don't overthink it. It's kind of funny.
Is it just the word basketball? I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay. I didn't think this was true. Okay, well, you may get this one. How old was Tiger Woods when he won the Masters for the first time?
He was real young. I think he's really young.
I'm not even gonna lie. I thought he was younger than this, and he's not. So
I want to say like 22.
okay. Oh, you could get this one. I know you can. Who was the first president to throw the ceremonial first pitch in a Major League Baseball game?
It was. I gave you this question.
Oh, did you? Okay,
It's Taft.
Okay. I don't remember you giving
That
this
is
one.
a question from a previous Bloomington Buddies
well,
episode.
I'm just repeating. See if there's another good one that I feel like you get.
Do you just have like a list?
I just have like a whole bunch. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
How many? Oh, okay. This is a pretty good one. I didn't know this. How many Olympic Games were held in countries that no longer exist?
That no longer exist. Does Nazi Germany count? Cause it's still Germany.
No. I'm
Cause
talking countries.
cause I think
I don't know. It doesn't give me a list of what the
Cause
countries
I
are.
know like Hitler
So I
was
don't.
at the
I don't know if
games.
that literally counts, but it just gives me a number. It doesn't give me a list.
That's like the only one I can think of. I can't even, I'm trying to like think of other like Olympics, like, cause like I'm trying to think because Greece held them like every year for forever. And Greece is still a country. I'm gonna say one and just
Okay.
say that they are saying Nazi Germany is not technically Germany.
Okay. What is the only team in the NFL to neither host nor play in the Super Bowl?
Jacksonville,
Um,
because I know Houston hosted it.
and then this isn't a question. This is just a funny joke. What is the one thing that Eli Manning, Giselle, and Nick Foles all have in common?
They all took a ring away from Tom Brady.
Exactly. Took that ring from Tom Brady. For those of you who don't get that, well, just go look at the news. You'll see. All right. Anyway, let's go over these really quickly, shall we? Let me find where we started. Gosh, this is so annoying. Okay, here we go. How many sports were included in the 2008 Summer Olympics? 28. You were very close. If you would have
said
just gone up a little
35.
bit, yeah. You said
Yeah,
Indiana has
I feel
24.
like
whereas you were just-
I feel like winter has more, just because like skiing, we can make like
Yeah.
5 different ones out of skiing.
Oh, 100%. All right.
Like,
Sporting event is held on Memorial Day every year. What is it? You overthought it. It's the Indy 500 every year.
that's not Memorial Day.
Yep, every
I
year.
did not know
Mhm.
that.
All right. Where's the next one we went to? Oh, basketball player Scottie Pippen has a word tattooed on his forearm. What does it say? Pip.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
I've forgotten about that, but yeah, that's I remember seeing pictures of it. It's pretty
Yeah.
funny. All right. How old was Tiger Woods when he won the Masters? If I'm going to be honest, I thought he was 2 years younger than this. He was 21. I thought he was 19.
Oh,
I'm not
I
even gonna lie.
said 22.
You did. I thought he was 19. I thought he was younger than that. Who was the first president to throw the pitch? You're right. Okay. Anyway, not like you hadn't gotten that one before, apparently. How many Olympic Games were held in countries that no longer exist? The answer is 3. I'm not sure what the countries are.
Okay.
Again, it doesn't give me a list.
After I said it, I feel like the Soviet Union may have been one of them.
That was probably.
I
Yeah.
thought of
Yeah.
that. I thought of that like as soon as I said Germany.
And then the last one.
I want to look that up.
Come on, this is a common joke. How did you not get this question right? What is the only team in the NFL to neither host nor play in the Super Bowl?
It's
the Cleveland Browns.
Jacksonville.
It's the Browns.
Jacksonville. It's never.
Yes, they have.
They've hosted a Super Bowl.
Yes.
When? Which one?
I don't know, but I know they have. I don't remember the number. But also, here, let's see. When was the Super Bowl played in Jacksonville?
I'm looking up the countries.
Oh,
Okay.
2005. Yeah.
2 that come to mind immediately are the Soviet Union in 1980, Yugoslavia in 1984, and I guess Nazi Germany.
It was in 2005 when I think it was the Eagles and the Patriots.
I'm going back to the Olympics. So 1980 was in
Soviet.
Moscow, which was Soviet
Yes.
Union, which doesn't exist. And then Yugoslavia hosted them in 1984. That's now Croatia, Serbia,
Yeah.
Kosovo, Bosnia.
Correct.
All those countries that just hate each other for no reason.
So yeah. Anyway, Cleveland. It's a common joke that said if you want to because they always say it's unfair when because we had 2 back-to-back years where the Super Bowl teams played at their home and won. So somebody said, well, if you want to make it fair, just always host it in Cleveland because Cleveland's never going to make it.
You got to host it in Dallas.
No, because Dallas could make it. Could. I mean, hey.
Yeah,
They're one of the winningest teams. The Browns will never. The Browns will never. They've never made a Super Bowl.
You look at some of the stuff
yeah.
that has happened to the Browns, and you're just like, that could only happen to the Browns.
Yep.
Like paying our quarterback $260 million and just having him get like 20 sacks like that.
No. Because the worst contract is Brock Osweiler. Easy. That's the Texans thing. 6 years, $72 million, and then he plays one game and he's done.
Like some of the stuff, it's like that could only happen to the Browns.
Correct.
Like it's kind of like with the Leafs in the NHL. Like if I tell you a team lost to like if I tell you a team blew a 3-goal lead and lost, and less than 24 hours later rallied from a 3-goal deficit and won, like it's the Leafs before
100%.
Before I even tell you the team. Like if I tell you a team lost to a Zamboni driving backup goalie, like it's the Leafs.
True.
Before I even tell you anything. That's what it's like for the Browns.
But yeah,
Browns and the Leafs are the same team.
Yeah, no, they both kind of have their issues. It's just kind of funny that they both kind of suck all the time. But anyway, why is this? Where in the world? I don't even know what I just did. Okay, sorry. I'm literally just having mental issues right now. Anyway, I think that's it. I think we're good. I think we covered almost everything. The show is going to be like an hour and I think probably
right now
20
it's
to
at
30
an hour,
minutes.
17 minutes.
Yeah, hour 20 minutes is what I figured. So it's not as long as we thought it would be. But I think we'll wrap it up there for today. So thank you guys for joining us here. Make sure to go follow us on TikTok and Instagram. I posted some more things. I posted our stuff on Instagram. I'm going to spend this weekend on my free time kind of cutting up clips from our past 3 or so episodes, finding our best stuff, posting that. Make sure to share all those with your friends and everything. Most of the time, all the ones I post are our kind of comedy ones, our funny ones where we kind of just do some silly things. But every now and then I do post our serious ones. I think I posted our one we did about Syracuse, stuff like that, when we were actually,
Yeah.
But we also posted our comedic Jimmy G top 10 quarterback.
I'm gonna be posting some clips to my I posted the one about the Leafs to my channel.
Yeah. And
I'm
I'll be
pull
recording a couple things. I'll also be I figured that what we do, if you guys look on our YouTube and stuff, it says season 1. I figured every semester we would just do a new season.
Yeah.
So at the end, I'll create a compilation reel.
When we come back from fall break or from winter break, or Christmas break, whatever you
we'll
want
be
to
on
call
season
it.
2.
It'll be season 2.
But what I'll probably do is near the end is that way you guys have, if you guys want to watch something over break, which I mean if you're tuning into us for break, I appreciate that.
I'll get y'all some stuff.
I'll make a compilation
I'll be
reel.
home. I can stream.
Yeah. I'll make a compilation reel of all of our stuff, and I'll be home too. So I mean, we could even do a virtual one if we wanted to, because we don't live that far from each other. But we could do a holiday Bloomington Buddies where we just do a holiday episode, not even sports.
I will say one thing too. Shout out to all of you who live in Indiana.
Correct.
Shout out to all of y'all who are still alive in the football playoffs. Sectional titles are this week.
Crown Point, my team. I love you guys. Good luck.
My high
LC
school,
choked.
Lakes, they lost to Lafayette Jeff for the third year in a row.
Did you really think they were going to win?
They took them to OT.
That's because Lafayette Jeff was too
Nah,
focused on Crown Point.
what was funny-
That was a trap game.
What was
You know I'm right.
What was funny is LC plays Lafayette Jeff in the first round of the playoffs like the last 3 years. The first year they lost 54-6. And then last year they lost like 34-17. And then this year they got out to a 21-0 lead. Shout out my dog Xavier Williams Jr. at Lake Central. Dude is a tank running the ball. See, you think IU runs a bad offense? Lake Central's offense is run up the middle.
By the way,
no.
no.
Run up the middle.
Oh, I understand that. But you want to know what's really funny is you all took it. By the way, you took it to OT. Again, I'm 100% right. Lafayette Jeff was just focused on Crown Point. Crown Point beat Portage 44-14.
Portage is also just not good.
I know, but I mean,
If we're all right, so let's see. Who's your pick to win the 6A title?
the 6A. If I'm looking at it right now,
Of the teams
100% honest,
of the teams that are still alive.
Brownsburg.
You're saying Brownsburg?
Brownsburg just beat Ben Davis 48-20. They've got to play Avon. They're going to kill Avon, which means they're automatically going to go.
I will say.
Wait, hang on. No. Now I got to ask him. He's over here. Our producer, Jackson. Who's winning? Who's winning, Jackson? Come on. Let's hear
Well,
it.
originally I'm a Cathedral guy.
I knew it.
I
The
was
second I
Cathedral.
said Brownsburg and you got mad, I knew you were Cathedral. How did I know? Cathedral, I don't even know. Did they win bad?
They won. Their only loss.
You barely won against North Lawrence, dude. Come on. Or Lawrence North.
Cathedral's only loss is to Brownsburg. Honestly,
Oh, you guys are bad. No,
y'all
you guys
haven't
are
e-
playing Lawrence Central.
y'all
They just
haven't
won.
even talked about the team that's number 1 in the state.
Who?
Hamilton Southeastern's 10-0.
Hamilton South.
They beat Brownsburg and they're 10-0 and ranked number 1.
Okay. And they only beat Homestead 35-0.
Oh, they only beat up 35-0. I will say.
They beat them by 35.
If-
They should have won that game
I do
horribly.
want to go to 3A real quick. My boy, shout out Johnny Lamas.
Oh my gosh,
Wh-
3A.
So he went to West Lafayette.
Why are we going all the way down to 3A?
So he went to West Lafayette High School and won. And
Oh my gosh, they won 52-12 against
so-
Calumet.
Okay, so Johnny went to West Lafayette. If y'all know George Karloftis, he went to West Lafayette. He was a senior when Johnny was a freshman. And Johnny's saying if West Lafayette makes a state title game, we have to go.
I'm the same way.
They're
Crown Point
playing.
makes, I'm going.
They're playing Hanover, who is right next to where we're from. Hanover's 11-0. West Lafayette's 11-0. That's sectional title. They're both 11-0.
No, I'm telling you right now, if Crown Point makes it
They're
to
not
state,
making it. I'm sorry.
I think they come out of there.
It's just
they easily come out of that
I
sectional.
think they can beat Jeff.
They're gonna beat Jeff, and then I think
God, I'm so upset. LC lost.
who are
to
they gonna
Jeff,
who are
bro.
they gonna lose to though on this side? Hamilton Southeastern, maybe. Yeah, well, I've got like the sectionals.
I think. Here's the thing. I think like all those teams from Indy, like Cathedral and Brownsburg and Hamilton Southeastern and Fishers, and they're all a million times better than Crown Point. And
I
that's
don't
not
think
even
so.
that's not even dissing Crown Point.
No, I'm not. Have you seen how they play? I don't
They're
think you've seen their
They're
games.
just better, Eddie. They're just. Better.
I've seen all their games. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, Crown Point is not the best team in the country or in the state, but the way they play is
Honestly,
unique.
if here's one team that we didn't talk about, it's the team that's won it back-to-back years is Center Grove. They're still 8-2 and
they're hanging in,
pretty damn good.
but they're not like
Their
killing
only
it.
losses are to Trinity, who's from Louisville, and that's where Johnny's roommate went. Is Trinity? Shout out Devin. And then they lost to Cathedral. But I think if I had to pick right now, I would pick.
I'm taking Brownsburg. I know people are gonna get mad at that, but I think that Brownsburg they lost to one game, but I'm telling you they're gonna come
I'm
out.
taking Hamilton Southeastern. They're number 1 in the state. I'm gonna take them.
Yeah, but that doesn't always match out. Most of the time, the number 1 team in the state doesn't win. Like that's true.
I think it's
At most high school
it's gonna
sports,
be
the number 1 team
it's
almost
gonna be
never
it's
wins.
gonna be one of the 4. It's either gonna be Hamilton Southeastern, Brownsburg, Cathedral, or Center Grove.
Actually, that's the reason that because when
It's gonna be one of those 4.
the only reason I very rarely do I ever see the number 1 in any sport. The girls basketball team for Crown Point we won state was the exception because that other side of the bracket was horrible.
I will say Lake
killed Brownsburg.
Central in the preseason poll for girls basketball is 7. And their first game is against South Bend, Washington, who's number 1.
You know what's really funny? I'm
Shut
pretty
up.
sure Crown Point is like 9, and literally our entire girls varsity basketball team is freshman and sophomore.
That LC's is mostly younger people too. I don't think they have a single senior.
No, we don't. Ours are all freshmen. Like they skipped JV and went right to varsity.
Crown Point and Lake Central are like the two of the best girls basketball teams. Like
I would say, yeah, consistency though. Crown Point, just like every year, it doesn't like we somehow, I don't know how, they always pull.
We
like
played them and went to overtime and lost.
Yeah. I would say we had. I honestly think we were top 10 in the country.
We were about to
when
wrap
we
the
won
show
state.
up, and then we're just like, let's
Yeah, I
talk
know.
about high school sports.
Anyway, we're gonna go and wrap it up now because I know he's gonna go do another. I think he does another recording. So, anyway, yes, thank you for watching. Make sure to go follow us on our Instagram and TikTok at Bloomington_Buddies, where we'll be posting stuff like that. But I think that's going to be all for today. We'll be back on Monday, which we only have 4 more shows before we go on Thanksgiving break, which we aren't going to do shows then.
And then we'll have like 4 more before winter break.
Yeah, like
So
4.
8 more.
So like about 8 more in the season. So we'll probably get about 15 episodes in. But I really appreciate you guys watching. So make sure to tune in for another show on Monday. But until next time, I'm Eddie Finn here, joined by Quincy Bell. Everyone have a great night.
Good night.